my name is Sukhaja. Welcome back to the Bookish Bulletin YouTube channel. Recently, I asked some of you what it is that you'd like to see, what type of content, and you all said you would love reading vlogs, which is why I'm bringing to you a reading vlog. And in this vlog, I'm going to be reading two wonderful books. The first book is Stephen King's Night Shift, which is a collection of short stories, and all of them are related to horror. It's going to be different types of horror. Now, I've already started reading this book a few days back and I'm 174 pages in. This is actually a 500 pager, so it's going to take me some time to get through it. But I thought it would be fun if during the course of this vlog, I read a story and then tell you how I liked it. Now, the second book I'm really excited to read is The Book of Strange New Things by Michel Faber. This book is recommended by Jen Campbell, who is an author and book reviewer and one of my favorite YouTubers. Now, this book is not something I would normally pick because this is science fiction, but I do love science fiction shows like Severance on Apple TV, which I thought was just brilliant, and I do like a few Black Mirror episodes as well. And I already started reading it, so I'm about 10% into the novel and it's written so well. I can see why, this is such a favorite. And I thought these two books, being from very different genres and being polar opposites in a lot of senses, would be something really interesting for me to talk about in the course of this vlog. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let's get into it. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to be baking something today because baking has of late become one of my favorite things to do. I thought it would be a good idea to make a reading snack to accompany all the reading I'm going to be doing on the side. And what better snack is there than good old focaccia bread? I've perfected the art of making focaccia over the past few months, but I've never tried making focaccia muffins. And I thought today would be a good day to try that because you will get bite-sized snacks that you can have along while you're reading.
Take a train ride just to see you. Ride for hours just to please you. You don't know how much I need you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from being alone.
I've just prepared the dough for the focaccia, and for now I've just let it ferment in this cake tray, and I'm going to eventually transfer the dough once it's fermented nicely into cupcake shaped mold, and then I'm going to add a lot of these veggies and seasoning on top of that, and then it's going to be totally different, so you'll see.
The same just for you. You don't know how much I love you.
You saw me make the focaccia. The bread is now resting and I'm going to do some reading as it rises in the next few minutes. Also going to have lunch. Reading Grey Matter, and let me just say it wasn't as scary, and a lot of the stories in here, they don't scare me. I just realized reading this book that unless it's a ghost story, I am not going to be scared of anything that he writes about. So there is one ghost story here that I read before reading the current one, and that was really scary because that story was about a machine, an industrial washing machine that kind of gets possessed by a demon and takes lives, right? And requires an exorcism in the end to kind of expel the spirit out. So those kind of stories really scare me. But the one that I just read, the Grey Matter story, was not scary at all because it was about a man who kind of drinks this particular beer, and because this beer is got a certain type of bacteria in it, it affects him in a certain way, and he undergoes bodily changes and transforms into another kind of entity. So I found that to be a bit like gross at times, but not really scary per se. So I'm interested to see what else over here is going to scare me. Before reading Mangalore, I also read Boogeyman, which was a fairly good story, but Mangalore is still my favorite. Boogeyman is about a man who is talking to a psychiatrist because he feels that he is in some way responsible for having killed his children. and he believes in the boogeyman, and apparently it's the boogeyman that actually killed the children. It's about being somebody who helped perpetrate the crime, and it's kind of creepy because what happens in the end, the twist, is something that really works really well in that story. So I'm learning a lot about how to write short stories from reading this. We'll need to go and check on the dough. This is the dough. I've kind of transferred a quarter of this into this, and now I'm gonna like let it rest for another hour and a half before I start putting the toppings on, do the whole fun bit where your thumbs and fingers go inside and form these compressions. So there's just going to be 6 of these muffins. I'm going to use the rest of it here. I don't have more muffin trays, so I'm just going to use this for now. Let me show you my tomato plant. This is a cherry tomato plant, and it has 2 tomatoes that are just waiting to get ripe. And once they do, they are going to look like this fella here. And yeah, I'm happy to say this is my first harvested tomato that's fully homegrown. Looks delicious, and I'm probably going to use it in the focaccia bread today. Okay, these look lovely. I've just stippled them and I've added all these lovely ingredients inside. So I'm really looking forward to how these turn out. Hi folks, so I thought while the focaccia muffins are in the oven baking, I would show you the 3 books that I bought recently. First up, Pachinko Parlour by Elsa, Shua, Dusapin, which is a book that I recently purchased because I heard wonderful things about this. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know I'm always intrigued by concepts of identity and otherness and things that people feel when they migrate between countries, across continents, and start families. So those are things that have always intrigued me, the question of identity and how being in a different place affects your sense of self. This very much falls under that category, and this is about Claire and her child, 10-year-old Meiko, who live in an apartment with Claire's grandparents in Tokyo. This is supposed to have wonderful descriptions of Tokyo and the surrounding areas, which is something I'm looking forward to getting into. They are originally Korean. Claire's grandparents migrated from Korea to Japan and started a pachinko parlor several years ago. And now that Claire's with her grandparents, she's planning an upcoming trip to Korea to kind of experience the culture and learn more about her identity, something she hasn't done before. So I find this concept to be really intriguing, and I'm really excited to read the descriptions in this book. And I hope that this will turn out to be a 5-star read. The next book I bought is Julia Armfield's Private Rites. Now, this is a book that is set in a post-apocalyptic situation in a world where it has been raining continuously, and it centers around 3 sisters who have been trying to understand how to grieve for their father, who they recently lost. And their father is somebody who has helped make this world more livable in some sense. So I'm really excited to deep dive into this and understand more, because this directly references the climate crisis that is ongoing. Continuous rainfall has made people have to build skyscrapers in this post-apocalyptic town. So Julia Armfield is an award-winning writer, and she is somebody who's written a book previously. It's called Our Wives Under the Sea. Since I am somebody who loves reading about floods in a post-apocalyptic situation, I've also read a book that had a similar theme. Environmental fiction is totally my jam. I'm going to insert that book in the description box. This is speculative fiction, something that I don't normally read, but I'm really excited to get into. Third book that I bought recently is On Writing by Stephen King. This book is basically Stephen King doling out amazing advice to people who are aspiring writers, and I would probably slot myself in that category. I have also read a few Stephen Kings by now. I'm going to link that video up here so that if any of y'all want to check that, me reviewing some of Stephen King's great works to start off your reading journey on, please do go and check those out. So I'm looking to read this book in the hopes to understand deeper what is writing all about. And there are 5 sections in this book, and each section talks about one different aspect. So this book is also partly memoir and delves into aspects of Stephen King's own life. So the first section talks about his experiences that shaped him into becoming a writer growing up. It's interesting to note that Stephen King had an accident just prior to writing this book, and that accident made him feel very decapacitated, and he couldn't really come back to writing easily. But then he kind of brings himself to a place where he does feel he is able to write again, and that's when he completes writing this particular book. And there's another section in this book called Toolbox, where he offers tips and tricks to writers about the mechanics of English language and how to utilize that. I'm going to look into all these 5 sections and get back to you with a review. Those are the 3 books I bought recently. Ordered these off Amazon. I'm going to leave the links in the description box in case you would like to help me by clicking on those affiliate links. Now it's time to go and check on the focaccia muffins. Okay, these seriously look amazing. I cannot wait to just pry them out and bite into one. I am so glad that I decided to make this an experiment. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but it's just wild. It's like crunchy and everything. I'm letting them cool now, but these look so good. I cannot get over this, and I'm waiting to make a cup of tea so that I can grab one of these and munch into them. Myself a little muffin and some tea. The main character is a preacher, and he is going on a mission. It's a top secret mission that only him and his wife know some details about, but they don't know whether the mission is going to be successful or not. This preacher is going to get transplanted to Florida from the United Kingdom for the purpose of this mission, and he's going to get blasted off into space, and he's going to meet some alien life forms, humanoids purportedly, and he's going to talk to them about Christianity because he's an evangelist. That's largely the gist of what I've read so far. I'm 12% into the novel, and I will report back very soon. But first, I have to take a bite of these muffins. So good. I'm having tea as well, so this is just the perfect evening snack, perfect combination. Anyway, I will report back soon. Guys, it is Sukaja from the near future, and I'm happy to report that this is my second take because the first take I hadn't switched on the camera. I have been reading the Book of Strange New Things, and I haven't really read much of Stephen King today because Stephen King is a bit slower than the Book of Strange New Things, which is just so much more gripping actually. No offense to Stephen King, but I'm now 25% into the book, and it's about these characters who have now landed in this planet called Oasis, and it is through a jump in space that this happens, where everybody feels discombobulated. They feel like the molecules have been removed and put back together. So that's what the character is going through. The priest that I talked about initially in this vlog, he is experiencing all of these changes, but at the same time, he's excited to meet with the alien species, the humanoids that are on this planet. And it is so gripping. I really can't wait to see what happens. And his wife, Beatrice, interesting reference to Dante, by the way, but I don't want to digress. His wife, Beatrice, is at home and waiting to hear from him. And they have this device called Shoot, which sends emails blanking right out of space, right? So it's a really cool book. And I'm like, why did I not pick this up earlier? So that's where I am on the reading update, but I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's right, this is your call to action. Subscribe to Sukaja's YouTube channel. Thank you for being here and watching this video. I will be back with more bookish updates and content soon. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sane. Happy reading. Bye.